It is your girl, Dr. J, and I am here with the whole crew. We got Salamander. Hi. We got Faster Fox.
Hi.
And we got Speedster.
Hello.
Okay, so I am going to be doing. I'll show Speedster. I'm going to be doing this video on Speedster's online class. So you want to tell us real quick how you're liking it, or just if you like it and that sort of stuff, and then Mommy will give people all the gory details about it.
I like it because you get they tell you your score so you can see how well you're doing. And I like doing the problems too.
Good deal. All right. Well, they are about to go have recess. So have fun outside playing, guys. So they just had lunch. So they're about to run outside and play and have some fun. But I had promised some people that I would come on and do a video about his Art of Problem Solving online course. I talked about the book and how pre-algebra was going for us, but I wanted to come on and tell people like specifically about the class itself. So um, basically, Speedster is taking their online course. So it's the full course, and basically how it works is that it's divided into semesters. So each semester is 16 weeks long. So right now he's in Pre-Algebra 1. And Pre-Algebra 1 covers like the first half of the book, and then Pre-Algebra 2 covers the second half of the book. So each semester is 16 weeks. One of the things that's nice is that the semesters aren't necessarily like August to December. They're just 16 weeks, and they're generally going to be starting about every I think about every 4 to 6 weeks. The classes were starting, so you can always jump in if the timing is right for you. So that's one thing that's really good about it. The live sessions take place once a week, and each session is an hour and a half. The sessions are in the evenings. The reason is because a lot, or I don't haven't seen any day sessions. They may have some day sessions, but Speedster's in the evening session. Most of the kids that are in the class, they are not homeschooled, I think, because you have kids from all over the world that are taking these classes. You have kids that are taking classes because they're not offered at their school because they may be in elementary school that isn't offering those classes, or they may be trying to prep for math competitions, or they may just want to do the math in a different way. So you're going to draw from a lot of different types of backgrounds, which is really, really nice. Um, and another thing, but that is an issue because we're on Central Time, and so Speedster's class is like from 6:30 to 8, like 7:45 ish or something like that. So if you're on Eastern Time, that's going to be almost going to about 9 o'clock at night. So you want to see what's going to work fit for your family. Um, so the live session you can hear talking, but mainly it's going to be looking at the screen. The students do not talk in the class. They are going to be texting, so all of their stuff will come up like in the chat box, and you'll just see on the screen the information from the person who's leading the lecture. And so you will want to make sure that your child has at least some proficiency in typing and being able to kind of read through what's scrolling down through the text. But they do give you a transcript from every class, which is really nice. So whatever is covered in class, that's what's going to be on that transcript, even the answers that the other students gave. So that's nice if you ever have to miss a session, or if there's ever a time when your child wants to kind of go back and hear something more, or see what was said or the way a problem was solved. Those transcripts are right there. So that is a plus, and those transcripts are always available while you're in that semester long course. So that's been really, really nice. Another thing that I really love about the program is that the program has you have your main instructor, but you also have teaching assistants that are in the class and they're active. The class is moderated, and so that means that the students may type in answers, but only what's going to come on the screen is what has been moderated, or what the teaching assistants decide to put up there. And so you won't have like a lot of erroneous information. And for his class, I think there's about 20 to 25 kids in class. So if everybody answers the question, there's going to be 25 lines of text there. So what the teaching assistants do is they may take, 4 or 5 kids and put their answers up there as opposed to putting all 20 kids' answers up there. Another advantage of having the teaching assistants in the class is that if a student answers the question wrong, they don't have to worry about that wrong answer coming up on the screen. The teaching assistants will not put up a wrong answer, but if the student answers the question wrong, they let you know that the teaching assistant will open up a private chat box with the child so that they can go over the information. So they're getting that immediate feedback. And also, if the child has the question, they're not going to necessarily have to interrupt the whole class or ask the question in front of the whole class. They're going to be able to ask that question just for that teaching assistant and get some one-on-one time while they're in that class, which I thought, was just great. Another thing that I like about the course is just like the textbook, the videos are right there in the course. So if they want to go and get some feedback from the videos are there. The way that the class works is they're expected to have read the chapter before that class, so it lets you know what sections the chapter is going to be about, and then so the child is expected to be prepared, just like they would for a college course. So that's excellent. So you come to class, they tell you what sections you're going to be covering. You should have read those sections, so you're ready to contribute to class. They also have homework, and the homework is broken down into two distinct areas. The first are challenge problems. Challenge problems are problems that are in addition to the problems that they would have answered in the chapter as they're getting ready for the course. They tend to be more rigorous, and they're going to use the concepts that were learned in the class and then also go a little bit beyond what was learned in the class because they're just that. They are challenge problems. They're going to challenge their thinking. There's not a lot. There tend to be about 7 challenge questions each week, but they're going to be a challenge. And the way it works is that they answer the question and they get, it tracks what answers they put in, and it tells you if you're wrong. And if you're wrong, you just keep trying at it, and then once you get the question, it's not until you get the answer right do they tell you the most efficient way to do the answer. And they do that because this is really is the art of problem solving. So it's beyond, it's not about just answering the question correctly. They're really trying to teach really mathematical thinking and how to get the answers efficiently, because that's what it takes when you're going to be going into really high levels of math. You don't just have to be good. You have to also be efficient, because it's going to, if it takes you forever to do one problem, there's no way you're going to get through, a whole semester of it. And so that's what they're really teaching in this, is how to be efficient in answering questions and how to understand the reasoning behind. So that's why they do that. But if a child just can't get it, there's a button on there where they can put give up. And when you click give up, it just you're just like, whatever, give me the answer. And there's no shame in that. And so it'll just give you how you were to answer the question. Also, each week after week 2, there is a written problem. And the written problems I love because it goes beyond just simply answer the question, but you have to explain your answer. So you have to explain the theory behind the way you answer, the way you got the problem. So it's not enough to just have the answer. You have to be able to tell how you got the answer, why you know the answer is correct. Sometimes Speedster has had to answer why a problem is not solvable or give all the possible solutions for a problem. And so that's really good because, he has to work on, it really has expanded his mind into going, okay, I have to remember, negative exponents when I'm dealing with this, and I have to remember, this concept or that concept. So it's been really good for making sure he's solid in his answers. Another thing that's really nice about that is that with the written answers, like the challenge, most of the challenge questions are just graded automatically with the computer, but the written problems, they're graded by an individual, and that individual gives a very thorough response. They get a technical grade and a stylistic grade. The technical grade is, did you get the answer correct? And you can get partial credit, and they will tell you, if you get partial credit, you know exactly why you got partial credit. Okay, yes, you were correct, but you were incomplete. Or yes, you were correct in this aspect of the problem, but you were not correct in that aspect of the problem. So I love it because every response is extremely thorough, and they read your child's answer, and they're giving your child feedback on every single thing that they put in there. The stylistic grade is about how did you write it? Did you use proper grammar? Did you use proper sentence structure? Did you use, commas in the right places? And other aspects of the stylistic grade also are, they will give feedback on, hey, the way that you wrote this, it can be hard for your reader to see that, so why don't you use this symbol next time instead of the symbol that you did use? Or, okay, when you're writing in fractions, you want to write it this way. So I really loved it because it's teaching them how to write mathematical theories and results and stuff like that. So, and I've never ever seen this in any other program where they're having kids, in the fifth grade, or kids that are doing pre-algebra level work, actually getting feedback on why why their grammar is important and using proper grammar. So yay, yay, yay! So all you people who are like, my child does not like writing, they don't understand why they have to learn how to write well. I'm telling you, this class will show your scientist, your engineer, why they have to know how to write well. You cannot just forsake language arts because you say you're going to be a scientist or engineer or a rocket scientist or astronaut. You still have to write well. So that's one thing that I really, really love about those problems. The second aspect of the course and their homework are alchemist problems. Alchemist is a whole different system. It is a intelligent system. So basically, what it does is it modifies itself based on your child's skill level. And there's various topics, and the topics are just for the work. So a lot of times I have talked about art of problem solving, having a scope and sequence that does not align with traditional scopes and sequences. But the Alchemist program ensures that your child doesn't have gaps because it's going to go over those kind of siloed approaches. So when they're doing their challenge problems, they have to think of, exponents and fractions and all that kind of stuff all at the same time. But with the Alchemist system, what that's doing is saying, okay, we're just going to work on dividing fractions. We're just going to work on, dividing fractions with exponents. We're only, so this is our focus for these alchemist problems. And then with alchemist problems, you only get two chances to get an answer right. And if a child does not get an answer right within those two times, it will bounce them back. So it'll give them a less rigorous problem and then let them build back up from there. And it's really cool because you're earning badges and stuff. Like if they get five problems right in a row and they answered the problem correctly the first time, each of those five times they earn a particular badge. And that's really great because Speedster, y'all heard him say, I like the grading. He's like really motivated by that. And so that's really neat because they're earning, okay, you leveled up here, you leveled up there. There's so many points associated with it. And there will be a screen. And so when they start a topic in Alchemist, it's red. That means you have not done anything with it yet. And then as they start to work through the problems, it goes to orange. That means we're getting there. You're getting it. And then once you have um, finish the topic, that means you've answered enough correctly where they're confident that you know what you're doing, you go to green. But they do have an extra challenge where you can go to blue. And going to blue means that you have gone above and beyond what they ask you to do and you've mastered that topic. So it's really, really nice. And this makes sure that there's not going to be gaps. And so I still have his CTC account, but he actually has not been doing CTC this semester because he's getting what he would have gotten in CTC. He's actually getting that with his alchemist problems. And so I've really been impressed with it in that respect because he's doing a lot in this class. Another thing that I really like is that there's a report right in there. So in the report, like you can always click back through. his class, and you can see what he did for week 1, week 2, week 3. All his answers are there, all the questions, all the challenge problems are still there, all the questions are still there, all of his answers are still there, so we can always look back and see what he's done. And we can always, your child can work ahead as well. So if you got to work ahead because you're going on vacation or something like that, they can always work ahead. Also, it's just that their written problems won't be graded until the week that they're in there. And they do get credit for showing up to class. You aren't required to come to class, but you do get participation points for coming to class and different things like that. Well, another thing that I like is that all the students use a pseudonym. So, like Speedster, he just keeps his online persona, but whatever class, whatever persona your child wants, that's what's there. So it's not like people are calling them by their first name or their last name, or they're putting their name and information out there online. That's not what's happening. You don't have to worry about that. And another thing that is good, I just thought about this, was that in addition to the kids getting able to interact in class, there's also some message boards and, well, discussion boards that are assigned to that class as well. So if the kids want to get together and talk about Minecraft, there's kind of a coffee shop sort of message board that they can go in and kind of chit chat with other people from the class, because you can't chit chat during class. Um, and then if kids have questions about a homework problem, they can ask that question in discussion board, and then other kids will go and give feedback. And then also um, the the teacher or the um, the teacher or the assistant, teaching assistant, will answer problems. They look in that message board and they'll give feedback as well. And sometimes they'll put in little games in the message boards for kids to tackle, or little challenge problems and stuff, to really kind of build community if you have a child that doesn't really want to do math alone or on their own. So that's really neat as well. And I have loved it. Speedster is really enjoying it, even though it's kind of late for him, but late at night for him. But he's really, really enjoying it. We are already signed up for the second semester for pre-algebra, and we will just be continuing with the classes from there. I mean, it's still all art of problem solving, so I definitely wouldn't say that the online class is easier than doing the book by itself. I actually will say that the online class is more difficult than if you were just doing the class by doing the book by itself, because the challenge problems go well beyond in rigor what's covered in the book, and then the book, and then having the written problems on top of that. So it's more challenging, but it doesn't feel like Speedster. He's not complaining about it. He's going with the flow. He's really enjoying it. We have one of his friends that he's in his math circle with here locally. She's actually in the class as well. And I talked to her mom about it, and she's really enjoying it as well. And she's not as she doesn't like love math the way that Speedster does, but she's having a great time in the class as well, and she's doing fabulous. I know people, some of Speedster's friends, they are just using the book and they love working it that way. So I definitely wouldn't say that you have to do the class in order to get everything out of the book. That's definitely not what I'm saying at all. You can just, I mean, if you just, if your child just uses the book by itself, that's not going to be a problem. I was just doing this video to give people kind of a look into what it's like doing the online class. They do send emails, like they'll send a weekly reminder like a day or two before the class. Like we got a weekly reminder today, and class is tomorrow, I think. That tells you how many, unsolved. Like, do you have any challenge problems that are undone for the week? Do you have any alchemist problems that are undone, that are not done for the week? And it'll tell you when they're going to be grading your written problem, because you can go in and edit your written problem until they start to grade it. So they give you that reminder every week, so you know when class is going to be and what you have or have not completed. And then also they ask parents to fill out an additional form, and if you fill out that additional form, they will send you a special link so that you can kind of get a behind the scenes look at how your child is doing in the class. If you would like an official grade, they will give you an official grade for the course that you can put on the child's crunch, on the transcript as well. So it's really we've really enjoyed it. I've been extremely impressed with it. I'm so glad that we chose to go with the online course rather than having Speedster do it on his own. It's just what works really well for us. He's doing a lot more probably than I would have had him do. I don't want to sugarcoat it though. This is a extremely tough course. Speedster spends about he spends a minimum of an hour and a half on math every day, and then with his class, that's an additional hour and a half for his live session. Speedster is also in a math circle that meets for an hour a week, and he also the kids have a math coach because we wanted all of them to have some time where they learn with someone who's not mom. So he's the math coach will also go through some problems and stuff with him, and that's another 2 hours a week with a math coach. And so he does a lot of math. So and I would say that the online course is really for kids like that. You can get away with less. I know his friend that is in his math circle who takes a class. She doesn't have an additional math coach or anything like that. Um, so you don't have to have it, and she's doing fine in the class as well. It's just I wanted to make sure that I'm like doing the full disclosure thing that I would say that weekly Speedster spends. I would say he's at about 10 to 12 hours a week on math, and he does math 6 days a week. So that's kind of what it looks like for us. It makes sense. I mean, full disclosure is that it's kind of genetic too. Like his dad has degrees in math and he's an engineer. His grandfather's a mathematician, so it's not it doesn't feel like punishment to Speedster because that's just the household that he grew up in. Your child will not have to spend that much time in math to have success in it, I don't think. And so I just wanted to give people a little bit of background of what it's like taking the online class versus just using the book. So the online class is going to have a live session. It's going to have problems that go beyond the problems that are in the book. There's going to be written components. There's going to be a whole additional math system that they're using, the Alchemy system, where they're getting some extra practice. And you're going to have reports already built in. Speedster, I don't think that it's not where the online class means the parent no longer is involved. That's not the case. He still will have questions while he's doing his homework that I will step in and help him with, or his dad will step in and help him with. So it's not, and the same thing I know from his friend that's taking the class as well. Her mom will, help her with problems, and her dad, who's also an engineer. We're just in the engineer kind of area, so so everybody's mom or dad is engineer, but her parents will kind of help her with stuff as well. So I don't know that it's definitely not. Hey, this will replace me having to work with my child. So that's not the case. You as a parent are still going to have to be pretty up on the math as well. So it's not something that they'll be able to just do solo, especially with the challenge problems, because some of the challenge problems I've looked at them and I'm like, really, really. So they're tough. They're tough, but he's been enjoying it. We've really been happy with it, and we're going to stick with it and keep going with it. So I hope that helps. This is Dr. J, and I'm out. Bye bye.